Hi all, this is Nelly, Ordinary People Saintly Souls, and I continue to read from the visions of the Italian mystic Maria Valtorta that you can find in the poem of the Man God. And I will mostly read from the script, from the book itself, because the conversation that Jesus has with Annas, who used to be the high priest but now is retired, and is at the same time the father-in-law of Caiaphas, who is the high priest. That conversation is quite interesting. So I will read most of it for you, and you will find a little bit mentioned about this man in the Gospel of John, the 18th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, verses 12 through 14. So they bring Jesus before Annas, or however you pronounce his name. And he says, "Who are you?" And Jesus says, "Jesus of Nazareth, the Rabbi, the Christ. And you know me. I have not acted in darkness. No, not in darkness, but you have led the crowds astray with obscure doctrines, and it is the temple's right and duty to protect the souls of the children of Abraham," says Annas. And then Jesus says, "The souls, priest of Israel, can you say that you have suffered for the soul of the least or greatest person of his people?" And Annas says, "And what about you? What have you done that may be called suffering?" And Jesus said, "What have I done? Why do you ask me? The whole of Israel speaks about me. From the holy city to the poorest village, even stones speak to say what I have done. I have given sight to the blind, sight of their eyes and of their hearts. I have opened the ears of deaf people to the voices of the earth and the heavens. I have made cripples and paralytics walk, so that they might begin marching towards God, and then proceed with their spirits. I have cleansed lepers of the leprosy pointed out by the Mosaic law, and of that which makes them polluted in the eyes of God, sin. I have raised the dead, but I do not say that that is a great deed to call a dead body back to life, but it is a great thing to redeem a sinner. And I have done that. I have helped the poor, teaching greedy and rich Hebrews the holy precepts of love for our neighbors and remaining poor. Notwithstanding that a stream of gold passed through my hands, I have wiped more tears by myself than all of you who possess riches. And finally, I have given a wealth that has no name. It is called the knowledge of the law, the knowledge of God, the certainty that we are all equal, and that in the holy eyes of the Father, tears and crimes are the same, whether they are shed or committed by the tetrarch, which was Herod, the ruler of Israel, and by the pontiff, the high priest, or by a beggar or a leper who dies on the side of the road. That is what I've done, nothing else, says Jesus. And Annas says, "Do you realize that you are accusing yourself? You say the leprosy that makes one polluted in the eyes of God and is not pointed out by Moses. You are insulting Moses and are insinuating that there are some problems, lacuna, in the law, that there are things missing in the law." Jesus says, "Do you dare say?" No, Annas says, "Do you dare say that you can remit sins? How can you do that?" And then Jesus says, "Well, if with a little water and the sacrifice of a ram it is lawful and credible to cancel a sin, expiate it, and be cleansed of it, why will my tears, my blood, and my will not be able to do so?" Then Annas says, "But you're not dead, so where's the blood?" And Jesus said, "I'm not yet dead, but I shall be, because it is written, in heaven before Zionist existed, before Moses existed, before Jacob existed, before Abraham existed. And so he continues mentioning what is written in the Old Testament. And then he says, and now it is written in the hearts that I will die. In yours, in Caiaphas's, in the hearts of the members of the Sanhedrin, who do not know, those hearts do not forgive me for being good. I have absolved, anticipating through my blood. I will not accomplish absolution with a purifying bath in it. You say that we are greedy and we ignore the precepts of the law, says Annas. And Jesus says, isn't that true? Why are you killing me? Because you are afraid that I may dethrone you? Don't be afraid. My kingdom is not of this world. I leave you the masters and of all the power. The Eternal One knows when to utter the enough, and that will make you drop thunderstruck. Like Doras, says Annas. And now I have to tell you, in another book, Jesus has an altercation with one of the leaders of the temple. He's called Doras, and he has enriched himself horribly and treats his servants really violently. And at one point, Doras drops dead. And so Annas thinks that he dropped dead because Jesus made him drop dead. But Jesus says, no, he died in a fit of anger, not because he was struck by heavenly lightning. And then Annas says, are you repeating that to me, a relative of his? How dare you? And Jesus says, I am the truth. The truth is never afraid, is never a coward. And then Annas said, you're proud and foolish. No, says Jesus, I'm sincere. You accuse me of offending me, but do you all not hate? You hate one another, and now your hatred for me unites you. But tomorrow, when you have killed me, you will hate one another once again and more fiercely, and you will live with this hyena behind your backs and this snake in your hearts. I have taught love for the world's sake. I taught people not to be greedy, to have mercy. Of what do you accuse me of? And then Annas says, of preaching a new doctrine. And Jesus says, oh, priest, Israel is swarming with new doctrines. The Essenes have theirs, the Sadducees and the Pharisees have theirs. Everybody has his secret one, which for one is named pleasure, for the other one gold, for another one power. Everyone has his idol, not I. I have resumed the downtrodden law of my Father, of the eternal God, and I have gone back to repeating the 10 commandments of the Decalogue in a simple way, talking myself hoarse to make them be heard and to enter the hearts of those who no longer knew them. Then Annas says, horror, blasphemy, how dare you say this to a priest? Has Israel no temple? Are we like the exiles in Babylon? Reply to me. And Jesus said, that is what you are, and even more. There is a temple, yes, it is a building, but God is not in it. He has fled before the abomination that is in his house. But why are you asking me so many questions, since my death has already been decided? And then Annas says, we are no murderers. We kill if we have the right to do so for an evident fault. But I want to save you. Tell me, and I will save you. Where are your disciples? If you hand them over to me, I will let you go free. The names of all of them, and the secret ones more than the known ones. Tell me, is Nicodemus one of them? And Joseph, and Gamaliel, and Eliezer? And, but with regard to this one, he probably means Judas. Forget about him, I already know. It's not necessary. Speak up. You know that I can kill you and I can save you. I am powerful. And Jesus says, you are filth. I leave to filth the business of the informer. I am light. And one of the guards gets very angry that he says this and hits him in his face. And Jesus says, I am light, light and truth. I have spoken openly to the world. I have taught in the synagogues, in the temple, where the Judeans meet, and I have said nothing in secret. I repeat it. Why do you ask me? Ask those who have heard what I had to say. They know. And then the guard gives him another slap in the face, shouting, is that how you reply to the high priest? And Jesus says, no, he's not the high priest. Caiaphas is the high priest. And I'm speaking with the respect due to an old man. But if you think that I have said something wrong, prove it to me. If not, why do you hit me? Then Annas says, leave him alone. I'm going to Caiaphas. Keep him here until I tell you otherwise, and make sure he doesn't speak to anybody. And Annas goes out. And in the next video, I will tell you about the conversation with Caiaphas and the Sanhedrin. This was Nelly, Ordinary People, Saintly Souls. Thank you for listening.